a hard-won right to vote for those who are outside the country.
We will be opening voting stations in 9 countries on the 17th of May. Those countries are mostly in the Middle East. The rest of the countries overseas, our South African citizens will vote on the 18th of May, which is a Saturday. Stations will open at 7 and they will close at 7 in the evening, except in the following missions. In London, which is the biggest voting station, we have over 23,000 people who will vote there. The Commission has authorized 2 days of special voting on Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th in order to deal with the sheer number of people. That station will also close at 9 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock. Similarly, our mission in New York and our mission in Washington, D.C. will also close at 9 o'clock. We have shipped all materials to all the stations. We have briefed the DECO officials that are mostly responsible for assisting us to manage those elections, and we are sending advance teams both to London and The Hague because of the number of people registered to vote in those 2 missions.
The IEC has indicated that it is ready for this year's polls.
We were surprised when we applied for permission in Westminster Council for the closure of roads so that people in London South Africa House can also queue on the pavements. We were told that a certain party had also applied to erect its tent opposite the voting station. We maintain liaison with political parties like we do in the country. I know in London, I can confirm, we have a meeting scheduled next week, Wednesday, with political parties there to discuss the voting process and to brief them on the processes on the voting days, which is Saturday and Sunday, 18th and 19th May.
And more information for those who will be going to the polls outside South Africa.
We've introduced online voter registration so people can register without having to go physically to a mission. That's the first one. The second one, the law was amended to make it easier for South Africans abroad. What we mean by that, if a person is registered in Maseru, Lesotho, and they know they will vote in Maseru, Lesotho, they don't have to apply to vote in Maseru. But if they know that they'll be away from Maseru and maybe in London, only in those instances do they need to notify us. So there are in total 78,000 people who will be voting by special votes abroad. That is a huge improvement from the 28,000 people that we had in 2019.
The electoral body has accredited organizations that are going to observe elections in South Africa.
The Commission has accredited a number of multilateral observers. By those we mean AU, SADC, those type of missions, or missions led by non-governmental state players, international IDEA, and those type of organizations. But increasingly, we must build a cohort of local observers because international observers are on the decline because they perceive us to be a maturing democracy. The Commission yesterday held a briefing and training for local observers. I understand that there are in excess of 100 institutions or organizations that have been accredited to observe the elections this year, only domestic observers. The ambassadors we will accredit them to visit voting stations, but they are not technically observers. Some say, can we get insight into how you manage elections to see if there are lessons that we could draw from your participation? We have memorandum of understanding with certain countries who will come and partner with us as technical consultants to us. For example, after the election, they'll give us their feedback on saying, we think you are strong here, we think you can do better here, but we do not necessarily accredit state institutions as observers in an election.
Sophie Mokoena, SABC News, Johannesburg.